Welcome to a reflection on the fifth Sunday in the Easter season. Today's gospel begins with words we long to hear in this time of a pandemic. Do not let your hearts be troubled, says Jesus. Let's spend a few minutes seeing how that might be true for us, even now. The Apostle Philip interrupts Jesus. Now, Philip is a saint, but this is not one of his finer moments. He says, "Lord, show us the Father, and we will be satisfied." In other words, show us the creator of it all. Show us the one who gives us all the answers. Why do we suffer? Why do we die? Why is there evil in the world? Give us those answers, and we will be satisfied. Throughout history, we have asked those questions. Maybe we're asking them in this pandemic. 400 years after Philip, St. Augustine will become one of the greatest theological minds of all time. He is in the Theologian Hall of Fame. He was obsessed with the big questions and the big answers. He wrote 7 books about the Holy Trinity. One time, when he was still writing another book on the Trinity, he was walking along the beach on the Mediterranean and saw a child running back and forth from the sea to a hole he had dug in the sand. The child carried a bucket, filled the bucket with seawater, dumped it into the hole he had made, and did this over and over and over again. Augustine asked him why he was doing that. The child replied, "I'm trying to put the sea into this hole." Augustine responded, "You can't do that. It won't fit." The child, who was an angel in disguise, said, "Neither can you put the mystery of God into your mind. It won't fit." Philip was like Augustine before that encounter with the angel disguised as a child. Show us the Father. Show us all the answers, and we will be satisfied. There's another apostle in today's gospel. It is Thomas. Unlike Philip, he asks a humble question. How can we know the way? Jesus says, "I am the way and the truth and the life." The way of sacrificial love, compassion, mercy, and hope is the way. A way that we will not always understand. A way that is greater than anything we can fit into our heads. It is a peace that passes all understanding. And that will emerge everywhere and forever because love is stronger than death. I was blessed to come upon a poem recently that says this truth far more adequately than I can articulate it. It's called "A Coming Alleluia" by the Reverend Erica Takas. One should never explain a poem before it's read, so don't tell the bishop, but here's something to keep in mind. The poet will refer to the old mother hen. This comes from Luke chapter 13, verse 34, when Jesus uses this maternal image of himself and says, "How often have I desired to gather you together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings." Here's the poem written for our Easter season, written for our season of a pandemic. They say there will be no Easter this year. No hats, no hunting, no hymning, no lilies to fill a bright room with a fanfare of pollen, no garden, no angel, no victory. They say that our journey, born in sackcloth and ashes, will lead us at last to nowhere. And so we sit worried that the tomb this year will be found for once still full. That Mary and the others will leave with their spices and come back home with nothing. That this year, the women will finally end their work, anoint, and then leave empty. Shush, be still. Do you not hear her? Clucking close by like an old mother hen, brooding and sighing and stretching her wings. "Fear not," she says, "for I did it before, in the silence in the dark, in a closed and locked room, in a world that had known only death? Did I not prove once and for all that there's nothing you can do, no decision you can make, for good or for ill, that can stop me rising? Do not let your hearts be troubled. Jesus is rising, even now, especially now. Amen.